In this video, I'm going to talk about how to replace either of the two rollers here and the tensioner itself. Relatively simple. So you've just got an idler roller here, which is just bolted to a bracket at the back here. You just pop off the cover here, then just unbolt that. To replace the roller, if the bearings are shot, for example, same with this one down here. Or if we need to replace the tensioner unit itself, there's a connection there and another one down the bottom there that need to be disconnected. This whole thing just comes straight out. First thing we're going to do is take the tension off the belt, use a 30mm spanner, and we're going to rotate that in that direction like that, and then the belt can just pop straight off. That can just rotate around now. We can take the belt off there. And so if we're doing the top one there, we're just going to pop off that cover. It's a T50 Torx, so you can just take that off, replace the roller, and put that back on again, 23 Newton meters. And for this one down here, unfortunately, there's not a lot of space in here to get a wrench in there, and the workshop manual talks about using something like this. This is a T50, which I've just punched out of the little 3/8 sort of socket holder that goes onto the end of your wrench. So if I've got that by itself, that fits into an 8mm wrench. So I'm just going to put that in there. And then I'm going to put that over the top. To torque that, I'm going to use the same thing, but in reverse. And unfortunately, I can't put a torque wrench on that unless you've got a special torque wrench with an attachment where you can actually shove something like an 8mm open-ended wrench over the top of that, which is what they use in the workshop. Then all I'm going to do is put a pipe on the end of this and use my luggage scales to torque that correctly to 23 Newton meters. If you want to remove the tensioner, the connection points are that one there and that one down the bottom there. Funnily enough, this is the more difficult one. The one down the bottom, there is loads of room. They're both T50, and you can easily get a wrench in there with a torque wrench to torque that. But the top one here is exactly the same situation as the roller, in that there's very little room. You're not going to be able to get a torque wrench under here. So I've just, again, used that same tool that I used there to put in there, and I'm going to remove that and torque that up in exactly the same way. The torques for these, the top one, which is a long screw that goes all the way through to the block in here, that takes 28 Newton meters, and the bottom takes 23 Newton meters. And when that comes out, it'll still hit the wall there. You won't be able to take the thing out, so that'll come out with it, and you'll need to have that sort of in there as you put it down, because you won't be able to put it in place once you get it down into the space down the bottom here. So there's the bottom screw, and that would be sitting in there like that, and obviously that one's going to come out with it. And if you need to replace the tensioner, if you flip it over, there's a screw there. Undo that. That takes 23 Newton meters. You can replace the spring tensioner unit, making sure that it's in the correct orientation. So they talk about ensuring that the rubber seal here sits at the top up towards the roller. And once that's connected and torqued down, then we can, to install again, put that one in place and then put that down and then connect those two screws as I described before. And before you consider not torquing this correctly and not setting up something that's actually going to do it properly, the reason a torque wrench is used for the most part is to stop people over torquing it and stripping things out rather than under torquing it. The tendency is people is to over torque them. Cautionary tale. I had someone recently contact me with a 981. They'd taken their car into a workshop to get the tensioner replaced, which obviously requires this bolt here to be removed as well as the lower one. When they were fitting this, they stripped it. Obviously, you don't have access in here to drill this out. They ended up cutting into the chassis here and butchering the whole thing, doing a really shocking job of it. To fix that properly, you need to remove the coolant pump housing, which sits at the back here, and there's a massive amount of work to actually get access to that and pull it out and drill this out properly. I reckon about a full day's work. Coolant has to be drained, the engine mount comes out, the vibration damper has to come off. It's just a bit of a nightmare. So to save just a few minutes of setting up a tool, something that looks like this is what I'm using. I've just got my 8mm wrench. I've just screwed that to that. There's the T50, a bit of blue tack so it holds in place. A screw at the end there at the 30cm point, which just hooks over my luggage scales. These are really accurate. They cost peanuts. You can buy these for less than $10 off eBay. I've used that for 15 years. I put an entire engine together with this when I didn't have a torque wrench when I was living overseas years ago, and it works really, really well. You've just got to work out what the numbers are. So for my 28 Newton meter torque, which is that one there, the 30 centimeters, that's about 9.3 kilos, and the 23 Newton meter torque is going to be about 7.6 kilos. So this one's 23 Newton meters. There we go. And this one is 28 Newton meters, which is the 9.3 kilos. There we go.